Hello and good morning. This is ABC 7 News. I am your host, Jacqueline, and we have a lot to talk about this morning. One of the big things is that last night around 8 o'clock Eastern Time, there was a 7.0 earthquake on the Richter scale in Antarctica. Now, about every 30 seconds, there's an earthquake, but they are so tiny that we can't even feel them. I mean, when I heard the news about Antarctica having an earthquake, I didn't even know it was possible. But we are so lucky to have two earthquake scientists here to explain why and how the earthquakes happen. But that is happening a little later. Right now, Danielle is live in Antarctica to interview a very lucky survivor. Danielle, can you hear me?
Yes, Jacqueline, I can hear you loud and clear. And I am on one of the very few parts of Antarctica that is not covered with ice. My exact location is the southern Victoria Land. Well, as we know, there was an earthquake in Antarctica today. Who would have thought? I sure wouldn't have. But here to my left is a survivor named Connor. Connor, why were you here in Antarctica?
Well, because Antarctica is one of those places that not many humans have been to and that they haven't developed yet. I'm one of the few people who can look at this magnificent view before I die. But mostly I'm an adventurous tourist.
So can you describe what you were doing at the time of the earthquake?
I was in Bunger Oasis in Wilkesland. I was taking these beautiful pictures of the land around me, and all of a sudden, about maybe 30 seconds before the earthquake hit, everything was silent except for the plates. I started to feel a little vibration coming up from the ground. They weren't big at all.
Can you describe what you were doing during the
It
earthquake?
felt like your cell phone vibrating under your feet. Then before I could have done anything, it all started. The little vibrations became huge. I mean, catastrophic. I tried to start running, but I couldn't get very far. I landed on my leg, more specific, my hamstring. I cried out for help, but no one could hear me.
You must have been scared.
Very much so. I thought my life was going to end.
Well, who found you and what then took place?
Well, I must have had my guardian angel looking over me at the moment. 5, maybe 10 minutes went by. The earth then stood still, and I was left to die. Luckily, someone came out from all of that fog and rescued me. He picked me up, and then everything went black.
So what are you saying? You passed out or something?
Yes, I did. It was just too overwhelming. The doctor said I was out cold for 1 hour. By then, people had come up and tried to make sense of what just happened.
Wow, you're lucky to be alive. Thank you, Connor, for sharing your story with me and the viewers at home.
It's my pleasure.
Now that is all here in Antarctica, and back to you, Jacqueline.
Wow, that is a great story. Now it's time for us to know why and how that earthquake happened. Here to share with us his knowledge is Chris, a scientist who specializes in researching earthquakes.
Hello and good morning. I'm so excited to be here.
We are grateful for you to be here too. So why do earthquakes happen?
Well, earthquakes happen when plates or rocks within the earth suddenly break or shift under stress, sending shock waves ripping.
What kind of fault is it?
It's a normal fault.
What is a
Normal faults are the most common throughout the world.
What is a normal fault?
A normal fault is when the plate boundaries pull apart from one another. The Earth's crust is stretched, one side of the fault will slip down.
Oh, I see. What kind of strains are on the earthquake?
The strain would have to be tensional strain.
What types of forces act upon the earthquake?
The tectonic plates are a force that moves the Earth's surface by either pushing or
Do
pulling.
earthquakes always happen close to the plates?
Actually, not always. Some earthquakes happen far from the plate boundaries.
Well, that is very interesting. Are plates always moving?
Yeah, the plates are always constantly moving. But don't worry, they usually move very gradually.
Why was it that Connor, the survivor, felt vibrations under his feet when the earthquake happened?
Simply because the vibrations move through a rock, this is causing an earthquake.
Okay.
Well, there are snowstorms. It starts with one snowflake and eventually turns into a million snowflakes. Snow is light and fluffy, as you probably know, and it needs a force to get it going, like wind for an example. Snow and wind together can be a big mess, as you know, like a blizzard. Snowstorms are strong and dangerous, and are the most common thing in Antarctica.
What about glaciers? Would they be considered erosion?
Yes, it would be. Wind and rain can cause erosion on glaciers. As rain falls down on the glaciers, the temperature gets warmer on the glacier. The temperature, for it to be considered warm, it should be anything above 0 degrees, and the rain can cause the glacier to start to melt. And if the ocean is close enough to the ocean, the water in the ocean can cause erosion.
Well, that explains a lot. We are going to take a short break right now, but stay with us, and we are going to acknowledge our sponsors.
Using Shell V-Power gasoline will help prevent gunk buildup in your engine.
And we are back. We are so lucky to have Kobe Tarsha, the scientist, here to explain energy and waves.
Why, thank you for having me, Jacqueline.
What are two examples of energy?
Potential and kinetic.
How does energy act upon an earthquake?
If there's more potential energy, then there's more kinetic energy, meaning there is more energy being released into the plates.
How does energy affect a given area?
There's not as much interaction going on there.
What are waves?
Well, waves are vibration, basically.
What are examples of waves?
Well, there's S and P waves. S and P waves come first, then S waves. The P waves come first, then S waves come, and lastly L waves.
That is very cool.
Yes, it is. Waves affect Antarctica because the waves travel through ice easier.
Awesome. Thank you, Kobe, for coming.
No problem. I love being here.
Wow, I can't believe it's the end of the show. Thank you guys for watching ABC 7 News. We have a lot in store for tomorrow. Now, lastly, we are going back to Antarctica to check up on Danielle and Connor.
I'm Danielle, and
I'm Connor.
reporting from Antarctica. Wishing you a good day.
Bye.